Hi, everybody. Welcome to Third Coast Gaming Radio. I'm your host, Travis. It is January 3rd, 2021. I'm joined by my co-host, Austin Taylor.
We made it.
We did it. We made it through the holidays. We both worked. One of us was disappointed by our work. It might have been both of us, actually. It's mostly me. Don't deliver pizzas. It'll destroy your body. How's your Christmas? What'd you do, Austin? What's up?
We had a pretty small Christmas, all things considered. Certain events transpired during the last year to pretty much keep us with a small Christmas this year. But it was nice.
Yeah. I remember you said you were like, oh yeah, I'm working on this thing we're supposed to be doing, so whatever, you guys. I started Mandalorian for Christmas. I skipped season 1. I watched the first 4 episodes of season 2 with the family, so that was pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely skip season 1. There's some things in that first season that I think are good, but I think by the time you get into the second season, it actually has a story that it's trying to that's propelling it forward.
Yeah, and they definitely explain most of the stuff. They don't explain anything actually, but there's a recap. I got to where they met Ahsoka, and I was like, Ahsoka's really good. Can't wait for the live action Ahsoka show. Who plays her? She was just on my mind the other day.
Rosario Dawson.
She's so good in Daredevil.
Yeah, I mean, when they give her material on that show, she's pretty good.
Yeah, when she's actually doing stuff and not I'm just here for 5 minutes of this episode hanging out,
I'm here to kind of sort of be Matt Murdock's romantic interest, but also not.
Yeah, I like it when she's more like a voice of reason for the characters. I think that works a little more than the romantic interest stuff. I'm trying to think what else I did. A lot of video games, of course. We'll get to that. Trying to think. Did you do what? How about New Year's? Did you do anything cool?
Not really.
No.
We stayed home while the neighbors sent off fireworks in the ditch next to our house.
Oh, nice.
And we had to try to calm the dogs down while we were watching Wonder Woman.
Oh yeah, I heard Wonder Woman is the Spider-Man 3 of DC movies.
I mean, it's not nearly as fun.
Oh, not nearly. No, I was watching a review of it, and it sounds like there's 2 different plots going on at the same time in that movie, and then other stuff.
I mean, there's definitely entirely too much happening in that movie.
Yeah,
it is quite frankly astonishing, how bad so much of what they do in that movie is.
Yeah, I hear Wonder Woman not as cool of a character as she was in the first movie, not as strong of a female protagonist. But this isn't the Wonder Woman podcast.
Well,
getting into the nooks and crannies.
Hang on. Probably because it's a movie about where the woman behind the worst thought out internet event of the last year is telling everyone that they should be okay with what they have and not wish for a better life.
What's the worst thought out internet event?
Well, Gal Gadot's Imagine video.
Oh, I never watched it.
Oh, it's terrible. It's her and enough it's the thing that came out when COVID started hitting the US, and it was a number of celebrities, including her, singing John Lennon's Imagine.
I mean, that's a thing people do, I guess. People are bored in their house, so whatever.
Yeah, but it was this is hit with this sense of we should be grateful for where we are, and it's a really weird thing to.
Oh yeah,
for
I'm grateful that I get paid a lot of money for a job that I worked really hard to get. Yeah. I don't know. That's a weird get from celebrities, but
it's a really weird
whatever
thing.
And I hear the so Patty Jenkins is the director, and I hear she wrote this. I'm she had like some underwriters, so I don't know how much of this was her, maybe some other stuff. Because I know like so in Spider-Man 3, Sam Raimi was like, I just want one villain, and the studio was like, nah, you should put two in there. What if you had Venom in there along with Sandman? So who knows what that happened? I heard Cheetah is like weird. Wishing Rock. I don't want to talk about fuck Wonder Woman. I don't care. I watched uh what did I watch instead of Wonder Woman? We watched Mandalorian, which was totally more fun than what it sounds like Wonder Woman was.
I mean, it was like
And Die
Mandalorian
Hard.
definitely is. Yeah, Die Hard ain't bad.
Yeah. Hans Gruber. Yippee ki motherfucker. We watched White Christmas too, which is fine. It's a fun musical. All right. Hey, can we get into these news? We got some news.
Did news happen? Did video games happen?
Yeah, some video games happen. We've been gone for 2 weeks. Last we checked on CyberPunk is they were like, yeah, we're gonna give people refunds, and then as of like, I don't know, it was around like, was it the 14th or the 17th that Sony delisted?
Yeah, so it was around the 17th. And it should be noted, like, when they first talked about refunds, it was specifically CD Projekt saying, like, if you bought it on a console, you can ask for a refund, but they have no way of fulfilling it. Like themselves, they can't fulfill it themselves. It was completely up to the console
Yeah,
manufacturers, like terms of service policies.
and the retailers and stuff. So I know like, so the major stories I was hearing was GameStop was giving refunds even if you've opened it. Microsoft was doing refunds for a little bit longer, and then Sony just pulled it, which is kind of an interesting thing because this isn't something that's happened a lot. We've had like what I would call unfinished games, but nothing to the degree of like, because this didn't run too well on the base consoles, and I think that's where the majority of this is coming from.
Oh yeah, definitely.
For like okay, so Anthem for example, that game, you beat that game and that game didn't have an end game, but that's all like people weren't asking for refunds from that. But
Yeah,
on the same level, it's like Fallout 4 when it released was buggy enough. Do you think at like if Bethesda puts out a game that's buggy to hell, do you think this will be something that happens, or is this just like a storm of things that kind of came together?
I think it's a lot of things, right? Like we can say that like Bethesda puts out games that are like are also very buggy, but they're not nearly this buggy. Like I played like Fallout 4 on my base PS4 back when I had that, and like
Hmm.
it crashed, yeah, but like there's never a point in time where I couldn't make progress in the game. And
But
we talked about Anthem not having an end game. Anthem still ran, right? Like Anthem ran well
sometimes.
for the most part. This is like a game where if you go into like the garage that the player character has that is a part of like their apartment complex, the game will probably crash because nothing in that area loads.
Did you experience a lot? You said you ended up, I think you said 40 hours, maybe more.
I am at the point I am in the in-game clock has told me that I've spent 60 hours in Cyberpunk.
A lot of crashes.
Pretty good amount, yeah. And a lot of like glitches that obscure my ability to like move forward, whether
Okay.
it be like progress in quests or just not being able to like clearly see what's going on.
So it sounds a little worse than Anthem, because Anthem did have a couple things. It would hard crash PS4s to like the blue screen when you're trying to load into areas, and I remember like the social hub area would just like I would go in there and it was just like stop. But it didn't like on a technical level, it didn't look like it was like could not run because like this game looks like it's optimized for next gen consoles, but they're basically making it for 3 SKUs of each end of the console. of each console, like the base, the Pro, the new series for each set. See what else? So Sony delisted it. Um,
And it should be noted that like the reason given for the delisting was to enable refunds because they cannot refund like a game that works and it's not a game that works, so they needed to pull it off their store because their terms of service do not allow them to sell a game that is broken on their
yeah,
store.
and I know Sony has the most like difficult like process of getting a refund. I know it's a lot easier on Steam. I think Steam's is it's like within the first 48 hours, and if you've played less than 6 hours, you can return it.
Yeah.
And Sony does not want you to return games. Sony wants you to get the games and just keep it. So this is like basically people. What I've been hearing is people have one like return per like profile account from like what I've heard from like Giant Bomb a little bit when they've talked about it.
Yeah.
And then I guess after that, this was something that was coming out from the 26th from The Verge, is that some investors were getting together, or a investor was suing CD Projekt Red over the launch, because I guess, you know, the plaintiff was Andrew Tramp, and it's looking to include other investors because they,
Yeah, so
thought the
Trent
game was
wants
incomplete.
yeah, well, this is more than like suing because like Tramp thinks the game was incomplete. Like to Tramp, we should probably just say Andrew.
Mhm.
From Andrew's perspective, like the actions taken by CD Projekt as it refers to um, like their duty to investors, that they did not follow through. Like they did not accurately report to investors how how Cyberpunk was performing, what like the and what like they could expect from the game's release. So like to from Tramp's perspective, I need to say Andrew. From Andrew's perspective, he believes that this has caused like significant financial harm to himself and other investors, as well as just a loss of trust within the company. So he's currently trying to get more of the investors to agree to support like this case so it can become a class action lawsuit.
Yeah, and I think at this point, like another story from The Verge is coming out is that from December 10th to December 20th, they had about 13 million copies sold, and that included some of the digital and physical returns. I don't think that's gotten to all of them. I think that there might have been more after, but that's about in the range of what Monster Hunter World was selling, maybe, and World's first 2 years. So I don't know. I think there's like a storm right now, and people are trying to get on to it. So okay, so you beat the game. Do you?
I've not finished the game.
Okay, so you haven't finished the game, but you've put a lot of hours into it. Do you think this is like worth someone's time, or do you have like a personal like investment in it that kind of wanted you to stick through it? I mean, you got it as a present, but like if this is something you actually bought, how would you feel differently?
If if I like as in regards to like what would I be like more down on the game or would I be like more interested in like getting my money back?
Yeah, like how do you feel at this point about the game? Is it worth was it worth like to buy as like a full price game?
I mean, I don't I like again like yeah, so like we spoke about this like we just said like I received it as a gift. I don't know if like I could advise anyone to like pay for and buy this game, you know? Like I don't know if that's anything I would say. Like I think it's a fine game like at best.
Hmm.
I've not had as bad like a technical experience as I know a lot of people have, and that could be in part because I'm using a pro or I'm just getting very lucky. But like, I mean, as someone who has been wanting like an okay Fallout game for a while, like this is very much scratching that itch for me. So like that's why I'm fine like putting the amount of time I have into it, and that's why I'll probably like once I do finish the game, I imagine I'll put more time into it. afterwards, because like when this game hits, it hits real good.
Yeah, is that like the storytelling or the gameplay or the types of missions you're going on?
It's a bit of both. Like once you get into the game proper, like there's some interesting flavor with missions. It's like everything is like loose enough within its structure that you can really, it's very easy to like slip into playing this game in the same way that you would play like a Dishonored, right? Like that kind of like stealth immersive sim type deal, but without like a lot of the hand wringing that comes with that genre. And like then the storytelling can also become like really good when it's not like um, dealing with subjects like the Voodoo Boys and the Valentinos, and just isn't being like horribly racist in the way that that game is.
Yeah, because this game, you know, it deals with it's like a urban metropolitan area that is very complex, and it's like it should be more complex, but it's you know, it's like a it's like a underwealth areas where gangs pop up in certain areas, and they are, from what presume, very bad stereotypes of gang members or like gang culture.
Pretty much like um, they did work to make like the Valentinos suck a little less, because within like 2020, because the Valentinos are originally a game Cyberpunk 2020, they are a poser gang, which is a gang that is about like an image, a cult about cultivating an image and aesthetic more than anything else. And their purpose is to basically bone down with like the most beautiful women in Night City.
Nice, the
And
dream
that,
come true, you know.
yeah, and that gets into like a lot of like racist rhetoric about like white replacement, right? Which is a talking point for like white nationalists within America. But within like 2077, their whole thing is like they're pretty into like Central American and Latinx culture. Like that's kind of all that they ever touch on with them.
Okay. Let's see what I we'll get into it more when we're in our games cast impressions. But you know, I bought it. I knew it was buggy. I was like, ah, you know, they'll probably patch it later. Um, gonna get a Series S at some point. But I think a lot of the stuff that's come out on the internet, it's like as a consumer, you're responsible for your own purchases. Like I mean, there's a lot of newer gamers out there, but of the people who are a lot older, maybe more of the outrage is from them. It's like they games come out sometimes and don't run very well and are broken. And usually, you know, the biggest thing is most people tell others in like shopping is like don't pre-order games. Like companies will give previews for stuff in the best state that they can be. Most of the previews for Cyberpunk was like PS4 Pro or just on like a really high-end PC. I think most of the coverage stuff was on PCs because like
All of
CD
it was.
Projekt Red before The Witcher 3 was like mostly a PC games company, and that's
They still
where
are.
their time went. Yeah, and they still are.
Yeah, but to like put any of like this on consumers, I think is like a little irresponsible because like they had like consumers had no way of knowing how this game ran on consoles until like well after it's the day of release.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's both. I think there's like a push towards like, hey, CD Projekt Red should have actually been honest about how this was running on these previous gen stuff. And on the other side, it's like, you know, it's like, hey, this is my most anticipated game of the year, but it's like, you know, I just a lot of people should wait for reviews to come out for stuff like
Yeah.
that's why. I don't know. It's a little bit of back and forth, you know, but there are also people who are like getting this game as a gift. Like how did people who are getting this for Christmas? It's like, you know, oh, I should have left the receipt with you so you could return it, you know, like I don't know. It's like it's a bad time, and you know, CD Projekt Red wanted to meet their like Q4 holiday season. They wanted it. It's been in development for, we were saying, like
8 years.
8 years. Probably a lot more of the development was after the Witcher 3 releases when they were shifting, and they wanted to get this out the door, and it shows. But I'm glad you're having fun with it. You know, I think I want to dip into it a little more. I ended up playing a lot of Final Fantasy VII Remake instead.
That's fair. I mean, play a game that works.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm curious to see what's going to happen going forward, because I know they pushed the DLC that was originally going to come out in 2021 at some point. That, you know, I think they're working to make this run better, and then to have the next generation console versions. Because, like, I posed the question in our, like, chat, is this show how hard it is to develop games for previous gen and next gen at the same time? Or do you think there's something else there?
I mean, the thing is we've always known, right? We've always known it's a complicated thing to do. Like when Dragon Age Inquisition came out, like in 2014, and we just like got the PS4 and Xbox One, but they still wanted to do a 360 and PS3 version of that game. Like those are very fundamentally different experiences. And like so we've always known that making last gen versions of like games that require that like can really benefit from current gen hardware is a very complicated thing. I think perhaps we overestimated the ability of a company like CD Projekt to like properly um let's see, like rise to that like sort of challenge, because this is a company that has made three big games in this way, and like the first two are like huge like Eurojank RPGs, right? And one of them is still like an incredibly, and like the most popular one, The Witcher 3, is still an incredibly buggy mess.
Yeah, and what they would have. Okay, so they probably, you know, of the 8 years, is probably, I would call it like 6 is the majority of the development. They probably got the builds for the new consoles, what, 2 years ago, maybe, if that.
That would be generous.
Yeah. So it seems like a lot of the work of the last 2 to 3 years was putting more stuff in the game to make it run better on, like it runs very well on the PCs from right here. And I mean, it crashes, but I mean, it runs better than like a base Xbox, which those got no love at all. I don't know. So that's Cyberpunk. Do you want to get into these 2021 things, or did you have like a closing thought for Cyberpunk?
No, I think if I have like any thoughts, like capital T thoughts about Cyberpunk, we can get into them during the gaming section. I don't have anything else to really say about like the news of Cyberpunk, other than I was quite surprised at how much this dominated the December news cycle.
Yeah, it's definitely out there. All right, so let's start with the indies. I'll start from the top. It's a Polygon article, the 21 indie video games to look forward to in 2021 by Nicole Carpenter, if anyone wants to follow along. Um, Yo, Raptor Boyfriend, though. Are you ready for Raptor Boyfriend?
I don't think I am.
He's rad and he skateboards, and you get to hang out with looks like a dating sim, because I think that was their previous. They had it was I forgot the name of it. It was like a what are they called? Digital comics that are like video game form.
Visual novels.
Oh yeah, a visual novel. Yeah, that's the word. My brain is sludge. Don't at me. um, this is like a team of 3 who work on visual novels. I like the art style of this. I don't know if you're looking at any of the, but this Velociraptor looks like that picture of the meme that's just like, yeah, what up, my fellow teens?
Yeah, like this Velociraptor has some real um It's not Stanley Tucci. It's the other one.
Yeah, I just have to look up
Steve
big.
Buscemi.
Yeah, he's got big Steve Buscemi vibes from 30 Rock.
Yeah.
And he's got a Letterman and his hat's backwards and he skateboards. What up, homie? That's pretty funny. And Bigfoot's there too.
Yeah, because it's like you have one of. It looks like it's a dating sim focused around Robert the Dino boyfriend,
Yeah,
Taylor the Bigfoot, and Day, who is a fairy.
yeah. It looks cool. I like the art style. It's funny. It's funny
Yeah,
looking.
yeah. It seems cute enough. I don't know if I'll like jump into it unless I hear some really like rad things about it. But
Let's see, yeah. What else is on here? There's a Saturnalia, which is coming to Epic's Game Store, and it takes place in Italy in 1989, and it's like a it's third-person horror game. Wow, cool art style. It's like kind of got that like cross hatching on the characters, very stylized. Like looks kind of Lovecraftian in a sense. It's like the areas you're running around in, like long hallways, lots of staircases, kind of cell shaded looking.
spooky. I don't know if I'll do it.
Spooky. She
Yeah,
Dreams Elsewhere.
yeah. This looks like She Dreams Elsewhere. Looks like a sort of like trying to ape on like a Game Boy JRPG.
Like the first Game Boy. Not the Game Boy Advance. Just damn. Looks cool. I'm into
Yeah.
it. So the other one we have here is Goodbye Volcano High. That's Canadian developer KOOP.
Yeah. Yeah, like this is
I remember the trailer
like
for
the
this.
PlayStation 5 debut event, which is real strange that it made into that showcase, but you know,
Yeah.
it
This is the
looks
one oh sorry, go for it.
I mean, it looks fine. It looks like it's aping on uh like a sort of a wistful, like sad, nostalgic teen vibe.
Yeah. With dinosaurs though.
Yeah, but now with dinosaurs, and also the
Yeah.
world's gonna end at the end of the game, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
is what they're heavily implying because the meteor is in the logo.
It's true. That's why Goodbye Volcano High. It's just dinosaurs. It's the sequel to Dinosaurs we've all been looking for.
Yeah.
Or it takes place at the same time as Dinosaurs because the meteor hits at the end of Dinosaurs. Spoilers. They
Wait,
all edgy teens.
the
Yeah,
movie
and they're
Dinosaurs?
no the TV show Dinosaurs.
I have no idea. Oh, no, they all die because of global warming at the end of Dinosaurs. The whole thing at the end of Dinosaurs is that they like look for, I believe it's oil, like too hard, and they end up completely covering the planet in a blizzard that kills the dinosaurs.
Huh. I always thought it was a meteor. I never watched the actual ending. I just remember people talking about it.
Yeah, it's very much like the ending of that show is very much like like, hey, we are killing our planet by like
Oh
just
yeah.
harvesting its natural resources at a rate that we cannot sustain.
This is also true.
It's dope.
Yeah.
And
Here's
very disturbing.
very dark. Here's another one from the PS5 launch event. Was I think Season was in there from Scavenger Studios, where it's kind of like an open world game where you're documenting animals and nature. They didn't really show any.
Yeah,
They showed some gameplay, right? Yeah, you're on the bike.
yeah, like we talked about this like when it debuted at the Game Awards, and this was. I think we said that we got like some Gravity Rush vibes off of like the look
Definitely.
and feel, and like I see it, but it's also just different enough because it's not
Yeah.
like you're floating people around and everything, but it is very like watercolored in that way.
Yeah, this is what I'm looking forward to a lot. I love the open world, like walking around, taking in the vibes. How about nuts? Oh, this game's about watching squirrels. Damn. Dude, open up the trailer for Nuts. It's a whole thing. It looks like did you ever play that free Epic Game Store Sludge Life?
No,
It's kind of like it's kind of colorful like Sludge Life, except like everything's like hyper colored, like all the backgrounds of it are like pink, and like, or this other area is like it's all teal and there's a little bit of yellow, or one of them's all pink and there's a little bit of orange. This is cool. I think I'm gonna save this. I'm into this art style.
Mm-mm.
PSP's got the nut, you know. That's all I'm saying.
An adventure in squirrel surveillance.
Yeah.
Right.
Turnip Boy is on here. Oh my god. It's a Switch game. This looks also harkening on the Game Boy stuff, but it looks like a Game Boy Advance game. Got to pay your taxes, apparently.
Moving on up.
Yeah, this looks like a Legend of Zelda type. Swinging your sword, and it's probably this looks like a Flash game too, but it's prettier. Cool. Chinatown Detective Agency.
Yeah. And this looks like it's sort of like I want to say like point and click, with like a similar interface to like Snatcher, except instead of like being in the first person camera, it is like an area cam associated with like older point and click adventures.
Yeah. Kind of like Tentacle. How was the Tentacle one called? Day of the Tentacle.
Day of the Tentacle.
Yeah. Almost. Let's see. Skatebird. I'm pretty into Skatebird. These birds are skateboarding, Austin. Oh my god. It just looks like a Tony Hawk game, except you're a bird and everything's really small. And you're just hanging out getting your combo up, Austin. I'm into Skatebird.
Yeah. I'm sure people who are into Tony Hawk will enjoy this. Maybe. Yeah. I have no idea. I don't know what people who are into Tony Hawk like.
Skatebird. They like Skatebird. I like some Tony Hawk. I haven't played I played Skate a little bit, but I couldn't get into it. But, you know, I wonder what the music's like in this. It's just like chill lo-fi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chill lo-fi beats to Ollie 2.
Facts. If I was doing episode titles, that would be it. There nothing else in this list from Polygon was really getting at me. Do you know any of these other games? Anything stand out from that? Tunche looks okay. Looks hand drawn.
Yeah, of like what I've seen in this list, I would say like Maquette, I believe is me pronouncing that to the best of my horrid ability, which is a game from Annapurna Interactive, who like have just been publishing bangers for the past like 3 years at this point.
Were they Gone Home?
I don't think Annapurna did Gone Home. They did Kentucky Route Zero. They published The Outer Wilds, Florence,
okay.
If Found.
This looks interesting. It looks like you're moving stuff. It's like a bunch of puzzle. Like this one puzzle is you're moving stuff on a smaller scale, and then it ends up something you can interact with. Like it's a big city, and you're moving a block down, and then the block moves in your own world too.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, it seems really interesting, and this is being developed by a studio called Graceful Decay. But I don't have any real details on the studio though.
Yeah. All right, let's go to this AAA segment stuff.
Oh, the big boys.
The big ones. The first one that's coming out for 2021 is January 20th is Hitman 3. And I remember they were saying that the Hitman 2 and the Hitman 1 levels are coming over to this as well.
Yeah.
If you own it.
Yep.
Yeah. I didn't play Hitman 1 and 2 at all, and I feel really bad about it.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, I'm lazy.
They're really fantastic video games.
Yeah. Maybe I'll play this one. Maybe I'll play the 007 game.
I I don't know. Everything I see from Hitman 3 is just, uh,
Yeah.
it looks fantastic.
The VR mode too.
Sure, that's also a thing that they can do, I guess.
There's the Medium is coming out after that. I don't remember anything about this game. I don't actually know anything about the Medium.
All I know is the trailer for it looked terrible.
Yeah, there's like a baby being
like,
born, a baby inside of her mother, and then it goes over to her crying and like outside of a church and just
yeah, and then it
weird
looks like
stuff
you're
going on.
exploring some sort of sanitarium
Oh
and
yeah,
going between like a light and dark world, and they're both equally horrifying.
Yeah, it looks like a less nice Evil Within. I don't know. I just get some Evil Within.
I mean, it's gonna be on Xbox Game Pass.
Oh, cool. Hey,
so
for people there. Outriders from People Can Fly, who are an old Gears of War developer. This is like the Gears of War / Destiny thing.
Yeah, it's like a team-based, like 3-person team, like Schluter
specific.
Where people are running around, and they seem to have like some pretty wacky powers.
Yeah, it's colorful.
It looks fun enough. There's like I know Game Informer did like a month of coverage, and it seems fun enough. I will probably end up putting time into it because like I don't know if it's half as good as like Revenant from the Ashes. Like yeah, they've got me.
Yeah, and this is a I think the tagline from one of the trailers was "Cover is for cowards." Austin, don't know if you knew that.
I mean, they're not wrong.
Gears of War confirmed cowards. They're just hiding behind cover. Yeah.
Marcus Phoenix is the biggest baby.
Yeah, let's see. What was this coming out on? Is this just next gen? Nah, PS4.
No, this is everything. It's everything.
Yeah,
baby.
yeah. If you get this on PS4, I'll mess with it.
We'll see what happens.
That's February 2nd. The other big hitters. February 12th is the Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. This is like the Wii U port of. It's kind of like those 2D Mario games. No, Super Mario 3D World. I'm sorry. That's the one where you get the cat suit and you can run around.
Yeah. 3D World was the one where like it was an inflexible camera. I think it was like you couldn't move the camera, but it was like mostly set in an almost isometric view.
Yeah, and I think it would switch between like side-scrolling stuff, or you'd be like running around an open area.
Yeah, like they played with perspective more in 3D World than like what they did with the new Super Mario Brothers series of games.
Yeah, and let's see, Bravely Default 2 on February 22nd. Wish I played the first one more. I just remember being like, oh yeah, this looks like Final Fantasy VI. I should play this more. Maybe that was Octopath. I'm thinking of... No, I mean, I know the original Bravely Default is a 3DS game, but Octopath... Also, I wish I played more.
Yeah, you're probably thinking about Octopath. I remember that one's very, harking back to that aesthetic.
And I remember Bravely Default was one of them that had like a really complex job system where I think it had like 26 different jobs you could do. Let me look it up. A lot of jobs.
Sure.
It looks like the 3D redone version of like Final Fantasy IV, I think. One of those. They're just all chibi looking. Monster Hunter Rise, March 26th on Nintendo Switch. This one looks like the it's running off the Monster Hunter World engine, and you get dogs you get to hang out with. I'm really excited for this. Very excited. Monster Hunter.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, Capcom keeps making it. The Monster Hunter movie is out. I need to look at what this thing has on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, it's probably not good.
No, it's probably terrible. It's probably I'm gonna guess 40. I'm gonna guess 40. Here we go. A 47.
Oh, never mind.
Monster Hunter is a mostly mindless blur of action held together by a slenderest threads of dialogue and plot, and exactly what many viewers will be looking for. I'm probably gonna go see it tomorrow. Okay. It's made 4.2 million so far. It came out December 18th. It was being advertised as like, hey, this is coming out for Christmas. Not on a streaming service, though, just in movie theaters. Yeah.
Sure, Paul got to make his money. He don't care if you
No.
get COVID.
No, they're not making money off of that. Deathloop is May 21st. This is Arcane Studios. Weird Groundhog Day, 2 assassin player characters running around. Maybe do it by yourself too.
Yeah, so yeah, it's like mostly like a solo game, but like there is like some asynchronous multiplayer where someone can become like one of your targets, like one of the characters who the main player assassin is also targeting, but like she will try to kill you back, and she can be controlled by another player.
This looks
And
cool. It's got some
looks
fun gadgets and a grappling hook and guns.
Yeah, it looks pretty interesting.
It's got the animal masks. Big animal mask vibes. Back for Blood by Turtle Rock, January 22nd. Little spiritual successor for Left 4 Dead. Because, I don't know, I guess... God, who published Left 4 Dead?
That would have been Valve.
Yeah. Valve is just like, nah, I'm not gonna put money in Left 4 Dead. Y'all can go find someone else to fund this. We got loot boxes. We got Dota 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're just like, like you get to like the 2010s, and like that just marks a huge change in like Valve's priorities as like a company. Like Steam picks up Steam in a way that I don't think anyone really saw coming.
Yeah, and I'm sure. I mean, they make as an investing thing. It's like, yeah, I put money in the store. They're turning a way better profit off of that. But so Warner Brothers is putting this out, and hey, I'll play more Left 4 Dead. Let's go. It's fine. Never had a problem with any of those games. Yeah. Like... Q1, Q2. Hey, what up? Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Yeah, this is when we leave specific release dates behind for the most part on this list.
Yeah. I guess let's talk about stuff we're interested in. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Mwah. I cannot wait. That's one of my favorite game series of all time. The extended look at the gameplay. This game looks so good on PS5.
It's about the only thing that looked really good on that PS5 reveal event. Mainly because it how they were shifting between all the environments that you can just, I guess, fall into.
Yeah, that stuff looks
just taking advantage of the hardware.
Yeah, and even if it wasn't doing that, this would still be like, I'm probably gonna get the two things that would make me get a PS5 is Ratchet & Clank and the new Battlefield game that I'm hoping is next Christmas holiday. So we'll see, man. And this looks like a Pixar. This looks like you're playing a Pixar movie too. It's beautiful. Horizon Forbidden West. Did you play Zero Dawn at all?
I did.
Yeah.
It's fine, right? It is a perfectly okay video game. Looking back on it, the only the most interesting thing about Zero Dawn was how small it is as an open world at the time. And that made it somewhat refreshing, but I don't know if they're going to continue with Forbidden West in that same way.
Yeah. I think Dying Light 2 was on here somewhere. I love Dying Light 1. That is one of my favorite
Dying Light
games.
2 is probably it's in the possible for 2021.
Yeah, maybe 2022. There. Who knows? Could be any point.
Let's see.
Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village, vampires and werewolves in first person, picking up where 7 left off. Are you playing as the same guy? I don't remember the trailer too well.
It was advertised as continuing the story of Ethan Winters, the protagonist hero man of Resident Evil 7.
Oh yeah.
The man who wore slacks into a swamp.
Yeah. How are you feeling about? Trailers look cool. How do you feel about it?
It looks
Mr.
weird.
IBRE7. Yeah, it looks like weird.
it looks weird. Like, like industry chatter, like from like reporters who have not like actually like done hard reporting on this, but just sort of like talked about this on podcasts, and stuff, like kind of indicate that this wasn't originally intended to be a Resident Evil game. And I'm
Hmm.
interested in seeing why they decided to make this like a Resident Evil game and what like impact just slapping Resident Evil onto Village like has for this.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot. The biggest vibes I get from it are like how similar the setting is to like Resident Evil 4, because it's a village. It's like it looks like a I don't know if it specifically says it takes place in Europe, but I love Spain and Resident Evil 4. It is so fun to explore, and it's dark and creepy and weird. This looks like it probably takes place in the mountains in like North America, though. I don't know.
I,
We'll
I
see when
would
they
I would not be surprised if like considering how
on the
into,
werewolves.
yeah, like werewolves and such that this is, I would not be surprised that there's like a third act twist where it's like, oh, you've been in like Transylvania the whole time. And I'll be like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing
All
more
right.
Dracula, huh? Give
Yeah,
me give me my gun. I gotta go slay Dracula real quick.
it's true. Hey, what if you kill Dracula? What if you are actually Alucard the whole time?
Dude, if this game ends and Ethan Winters like dethrones and kills Dracula and then becomes the Dracula, um, that would be fine. I'd be into that.
Yeah, what if they bought Castlevania from
Konami.
Konami, didn't tell anyone, and then revealed it to you at the end of this game?
You know? Cool.
Yeah, that'd be the
Give it to
coolest
me.
decision. That will never happen. Gotham Knights, another one that was like 2021. I don't know, man. It's probably this is gonna be the better Avengers game. You know, I'm guessing there's gonna be loot in this, and it's
Yeah,
co-op. I think it's up
yeah,
to 3 or 4 player co-op. I think it was
there's
three,
loot. Um, I'm
or is
not
it just
entirely.
2 player co-op?
I think it might just be two player. Like, I think you have four characters you can select from between Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, and Red Hood. And I think like per mission, it's only two-player co-op.
Yeah, it's only 2 player. Man, Robin looks cool though. I'm not gonna lie. I like his shitty style.
Yeah,
Is what I'm
it's
gonna
just,
call it. His shitty style.
well, it looks like they're bringing on like a, for this Robin. This looks more like a Damian Wayne like era Robin.
Yeah, and it looks like he doesn't he have like basketball shoes on or something. And
He
he's got his
might.
sticks. He probably has basketball shoes on. Nightwing, Red Hood, and Batgirl. Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
cool. This is what the second studio is making.
Yeah, this is what
Is it?
WB Montreal's doing.
Is this the Court of Owls one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Because I remember them teasing this one. This is the people who made the Arkham Origins,
Arkham Origins.
which I didn't play. I didn't beat Night either. I got burnt out. Like I've only played the first Arkham Asylum and then like half of Night.
Yeah, that's fair. Like they're very samey, right? Like it's not. I'd say more than any other game I've like series I've played, it's very easy to get burnt out on the Arkham series because there's just so little that's different between each game.
And at that time in my life, Destiny destroyed my ability to play any other game. So that's all I was doing for a while. It's like that. I would call it the World of Warcraft hole, where you're just stuck in there, being like, "Oh, let me get this loot." I didn't. I didn't end up beating the. I beat the campaign for Beyond Light and did nothing else after. 'Cause that game sucks by yourself. It's not. It's boring.
Yeah.
And Red
I,
Dead Online destroyed my life. Also, speaking of other games.
yeah. Red Dead Online just came out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Decided to just destroy any plans you had for this holiday season.
it got me, dude. Ghostwire Tokyo is the other one that's coming out. That's the Evil Within team. Shinji Mikami. I'm just curious what it ends up being. I know it looked alright. It was first person.
Yeah.
It got pushed back. Bethesda's publishing, so
Yeah, they sold like, I remember this debut, they sold like a vibe that I was really into, and then I saw the like first person, pretty hectic looking uh like action sequences. And I was like, I don't think I'll be doing this one actually.
So yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens. I'm curious what the reviews are like for it. 'Cause I usually don't buy stuff day one anyway. But something I would buy day one is fucking Psychonauts 2, Austin. I am in love with that first game. That first game does so much for me, and at the time I was like way into platformers, and it was like, I don't have a game. I had a GameCube, but I didn't play Super Mario Sunshine too much. Played a little bit, but like I just love Psychonauts. Oh, it's so pretty. This gameplay. It's very psychedelic, man.
Yeah, I mean that's I'd assume as much.
Yeah, it's a little more cell shaded too. Ah, man, can't wait. Rainbow Six Quarantine. Please change the name on that one, or rolling with the hype. I don't know. Ubisoft Rainbow Six Siege, like single player stuff, I think is what they're trying to do. Or maybe it'll be a Left 4 Dead thing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's I think it's like supposed to be like a more dedicated because they've done like a zombie version of Siege stuff before. And they had like a Halloween event a couple of years ago. And
Yeah,
this is supposed to be like a bigger version, a bigger play on that.
yeah.
And hopefully
So
permanent.
yeah. Let's see. Gran Turismo 7. Hey, maybe Gran Turismo 7 will come out. I want to play another Gran Turismo. I know there's like I didn't play 5 and 6 at all. I played 4 a lot because it was a cool PS2 game, and it was so pretty on PS2. Holy shit, they were pushing the hardware of that console. Um, Anything on here? I think we're at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, so we're at the in the section that we're at the possible for 2021.
Yeah.
Um,
Anything else on here coming out to you? I think there's only one thing left on here that's like
there's like
something I
as far
want.
as like everything that's a possibility, there's nothing I'm particularly interested in aside from like maybe the Breath of the Wild sequel. Um, let's see, in this list they have Baldur's Gate 3, and that'll come out. That'll finish whenever it finishes. And then we get into the unlikely for 2021 section, which immediately hits me with what I want.
Oh, Elden Ring.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that? Oh yeah, that's the Dark Souls. That's the new Dark Souls game
Yeah.
with George R. R. Martin doing something.
It's
Are they
supposed
just
to.
paying him to put his name on there? I don't.
They wouldn't have to. Like that's the thing. Like I don't think they'd have to pay George R. R. Martin to do stuff in order to like generate any sort of excitement for this game. They have a core
Yeah,
audience that is very faithful to like their rendition of this genre.
yeah, and this is looking cool. I've been thinking about Demon Souls a lot because I've been watching people play it on Twitch.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll
I
play
mean,
some Bloodborne. My friend was inviting me to play some Bloodborne with him. I might join him up on that.
and God, just think
So,
sometimes I just look at this trailer and I'm just like, man, I love how everything like the imagery used in this trailer is just beautiful to me.
I'm saying that except for this Final Fantasy 16 trailer. I'm in the
Ah,
same point. I'm just like, dude, I've been playing so much 7 that I'm just like, 16 is gonna be so fucking badass because it's just a like like the hack and slash RPGs mix that 7 has is like reinvigorated my love of Square Enix.
yeah, like this looks very like I've been playing a bit of 15
Nice.
recently, and this is like, oh, this is so different.
Yeah, it's pretty different. It looks like the combat is a little more. I would say it's a little more Devil May Cry ish than like because like 15 is like you're doing some combos, but you're like not as cool as like the style of like the Devil May Cry combat.
Oh, absolutely not. This looks like I feel like this is doing a lot of what Seven did in that demo.
Yeah, yeah, and this has a jump button too. Like 7 doesn't have a jump button. I'm very sad about it, but it's got everything else. It's got everything else.
Well, no one in Midgar knows how to jump. They're so crushed under the weight of uh, late capitalism.
Yeah, all they're sucking all the Mako out of there, so there's
Yeah,
nobody can jump
yeah,
anymore. They need the Mako to jump.
no one's got good knees anymore.
No. All right, that's 2021 stuff. Some games that are coming out.
Any,
Um,
anything else under this like not likely list that you want to see come out in 2021?
Nah, I closed it already. I
Yeah.
think that kind of hit everything I wanted to. How
Oh,
about you?
Grand Theft Auto 5
Oh, whatever.
for
Fucking
PlayStation
PS5.
5 and
I don't.
Xbox Series X.
You know, I'd be down to play some Red Dead on a PS5. Want to get those good load times, but it's fine. All right, let's go into the quick stuff, and then we'll wrap up. I think this is like an older thing. This is from an interview from December 16th. Was Polygon. Russ Frustick was talking to Doug Bowser about like kind of they were talking about Animal Crossing. They were talking about some Joy-Con drift. I think the thing I'm pulling from it is like the them talking about the Switch Pro is like I think it's gonna be another 3 years till Switch Pro. Maybe I'm gonna say 3 years, 2 years maybe. I think they're letting the console kind of breathe a little more, and then they're gonna release the Switch Pro and they're gonna drop. That's probably Breath of the Wild 2 is gonna be Switch Pro. That's my guess, Austin. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't like we have not seen enough from Breath of the Wild, like a sequel, for me to kind of think that, and it looked like close enough to like the general vibe and like aesthetic of Hyrule. I mean, of Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. Of like the first Breath of the Wild, I could see them putting it on like a normal Switch. I don't think they're gonna need to hold it back for a Switch Pro. Um,
Yeah, I just mean I think they're trying to get together like a release lineup for the Switch Pro to make people like want to pick it up. You know, just
yeah,
kind of like how they launched with Breath of the Wild and then like Mario Odyssey later with when the
yeah.
Switch originally came out.
I mean, of course, the thing is like if this Pro is just an upgraded Switch, I don't think that they can really afford to like make Breath of the Wild sequel like for this upgraded Switch specifically, because their install base for the Switch is just huge already. Um,
Yeah,
and if this is meant to be like the sequel to the Switch, like this needs to be just be called like the Switch 2, right? Like this needs to be called very clearly indicate that this is a new console that is just like an iteration of this one because the last time they tried to do something like this, we got the Wii U.
yeah, and I don't think they're gonna break it off like the Wii U. I think they're gonna do like the PS4 Pro style thing where it's just like these games run better, maybe some 4K. Because as we've seen, like these games are not made as the same tier of like most PS4 stuff, but like nobody really cares about that because of how charming and how like good their games are. You know?
Well, I mean, yeah, they're not trying to like chase this realism, right? That a lot of modern AAA games are trying to get, like specifically like PlayStation's house style, where you see a lot of like fine detailing, like you can see the individual hairs of like Kratos's beard in God of War. Um, they neither have like Nintendo neither has a system capable of doing that, nor are they interested in that. Um,
No, and they're doing just fine with what they're doing. Like
yeah, and I think
I think they were saying they were the top selling console for the last 24 months,
that wouldn't surprise
24
me.
straight months. Yeah.
Like partially because like they have, I think they're more available than like the current consoles are, but yeah, like and they're just so much easier to get like to manage in a real way.
Yeah, and the Switch Lite's like $200. That's such an easy like get in portable lifestyle kind of thing. And like speaking of like the hardware stuff, like Animal Crossing New Horizons, that game could run on a Wii U. Like there's not a lot going on to make that game like suck up a bunch of RAM. So I don't know. I'm excited to see what the Switch is going forward. I think after this year, because the pandemic has kind of pushed development, and I know Nintendo's had a harder time on it than other companies. So we'll see. What we got: Bayonetta still. We got Metroid
Supposedly.
Prime 4, and supposedly, yeah, and Breath of the Wild 2, and maybe some other stuff.
Oh, did you?
I'm here still.
Okay. You just You cut out for me a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that should be cool. What's this? You sent me this Raw Fury thing. I don't think I got to look at it.
yeah. So this is just a bit of like some hard news. Um, like the publisher Raw Fury, and they are behind like some upcoming games like Sable and Backbone. They're the publisher of those games. They like released their like standard um, publishing deal, right? For when like if a company wants to pitch them for a game, like this is the kind of like deal that they can expect, right? And that indicates that sort of it shows that they have. Let's see. Let's actually get to this. So there's like a full breakdown of what all this means on this virtual concast .com bit here. There's no name associated with this write-up, unfortunately, but oh yes, there is Michael Futter at the bottom as opposed to the top, unfortunately. Um, and like this is pretty important for like games business as like as far as transparency goes, because like we don't know a lot about how publishing deals work within this industry. And like what this breakdown sort of illustrates is like they do like Raw Fury does like some interesting things as far as like immediately begins financing the project. They do not finance through milestones. They finance like instead through like a quarterly schedule, and like they offer a 50-50 split, which is a bit deviant from the norm, which is usually something closer to like a 70-30 that favors the publisher.
Yeah, sounds really interesting. Let's see. What were the other two games they put out called again? Just want to take a look at them.
Like so the ones that I mentioned were Sable and Backbone, I
Oh, they're a
believe.
publisher.
Yeah, they're a publisher.
Okay. Uh, Call of the Sea is something they publish.
Yeah, Call the Sea is something that just came out on Game Pass, if I'm not mistaken.
Interesting. Trying to see if I know any. Oh, they've published 25 games. A lot of stuff. Hey, they're helping people put stuff out. That's cool. I'm into that. All right. Hey, all right. Any other thoughts about some of the stuff going on?
Well,
I'll wrap it up.
in terms of this agreement, I just think it's a good step in like helping people better understand like what the financial and like business part of this industry looks like.
Yeah. And I like Insight. That's pretty cool. All right, we're going to wrap it up for this week. Happy New Year, Austin. We're back. We're back, baby.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Can't wait for all the problems to go away.
I can't wait for all the problems to go away. We'll see how the vaccine goes. Till talk about our impressions. We'll talk about CyberPunk and Final Fantasy VII Remake in our next episode if y'all want to catch us. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter at Delisted.
Alright. And I'm at Travis23 Doyle, or you can just like look up Third Coast Gaming. It's just my Twitter. Catch y'all later.
Goodbye.